In my last video, I was out exploring a unique canyon on the edge of the Mojave Desert that felt like a different planet. Being an area with such rich geologic history, it was only a matter of time before humans started looking below the surface for valuable resources that could be commodified. Of course, California is known for the gold rush, but in areas like this with a long history of volcanic activity, gold isn't the only thing that can make you rich. Hey guys, I am here at my campsite where I spent the night. I pulled in kind of late last night, but now we're gonna head out and see if we can find some abandoned mines and mine camps. It took a little bit of studying different maps to find out where exactly I wanted to go, but I think I've got a few spots now, so we're gonna see if we can get to them. All right, we've made it to the first mine site, and the first thing we come across is this huge abandoned foundation. Up this way is where the mine is, and some other remnants, it looks like, so we're gonna take a look over there. So as I mentioned in my last video, most of the geology in this area was created by volcanic activity over 10 million years ago. So there's a lot of layers of ash, rock, and then interdispersed there's sediment that was laid down by ancient rivers and lakes. But for the most part, it's a lot of volcanic ash that has solidified into these rock layers. And that ash is what has created the perfect opportunity for pumice mining. So pumice was discovered in this area in the early 1800s and 1900s, and it was a very popular ingredient in household cleaners. Two brands in particular were the Holly Cleanser and the Old Dutch Cleanser, which I believe are pretty similar to like Comet or Ajax today, although those don't use pumice. But that's just to kind of give you an idea of what these cleaners were like. So these mines were for the Holly Cleanser. These are the Holly ash mines. They were in operation from about 1939 to 1958, where they would remove the pumice and grind it down into an ash, which could then be added into the cleansers. People have had some fires in this one. Wow. To be honest, from what I researched, these ones, I knew they weren't super deep, but they're still not as deep as I expected them to be. Since it's all pumice, like, these are so light. That's so cool. In total, these mines produced about 25,000 tons of raw material, which, if you ask me, seems like kind of a lot for the size of these mines. You've just got this whole layer of tuff cutting out of the ground here. They really could have mined a lot more. Oh, we do have more. Little one. I wonder if this hole and this little alcove were the start of more, or if they've just broken away. That one definitely looks like it was starting to be dug. So those are the physical mines, but let's go see what is left of the mine camp. So there's quite a few of these almost space capsule looking things. I have no idea what these would be, but if anyone knows what these are, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious. Some more old foundation. That's pretty cool. Alright, I think that is it for the Holly Ash mine, so now we're going to try and find the old Dutch cleanser mine, which was a direct competitor of the Holly Ash mine. Little foundation of something right there. But it looks pretty tough to get to. I was hoping that there would be a way for me to hike down into the canyon from here, but so far it is not looking too promising. But I still have to find the mine that I'm looking for, so we'll do that first before I decide if I want to try and get down in the canyon. Wow. I can't even see the end. I don't think the camera is going to show just how steep this is, but this whole layer of ash dips into this hill at a 45-degree angle, so you know, in order to follow it they had to dig down at pretty close to that, it looks like. Oh, it is like 10 degrees cooler in here too. Wow. I should have brought a really strong flashlight, but I did not. It's also just so steep, so I can't really explore too far down in here, but this is the old Dutch cleanser mine. This mine is actually older than the Holly Ash mine. It was mined from 1923 to about 1947, And as I said, like the Holly Ash mine was the direct competitor of this mine. Most of the product from this mine went into the old Dutch cleanser. And it's actually really funny because this mine is connected to Milwaukee, Wisconsin a little bit, which I'm from Wisconsin and from pretty close to Milwaukee, so it was really weird to research it and find out that the Cudahy brothers, who were known for meat packing in the town of Cudahy in Milwaukee, they're the ones that opened this mine. That is crazy. It just like never ends. Wow. I don't know if there's like more tunnels down low below, but if there is, I would imagine it'd be kind of easy to get turned around in here. I guess you just need to head up at some point. You'll make it back. Yeah, I don't even know how far back this one goes. I believe at some point there was an entrance to this mine somehow farther down on the hill, and they used to have a railroad, or at least like minecart tracks that would come into the canyon, come to the mines, and that's how they would take some of the material out. Jeez. Definitely exercise caution if you were to visit here. That's why I'm not really gonna go in any of these. I almost missed this one. Looks like that one's collapsed. There is a lot more entrances than I thought there were into into this mine. It's crazy. This whole like mountainside has just been dug out. Wow, this honestly goes so much farther than I thought it did. Beautiful view though. I have this as your workplace. Although I guess not so fun when you gotta be in there all day. Oh, this is what I spotted from, I was up there before and I saw this. Wow, look at this. I don't know if this would have been some sort of machine for processing or moving the material. This is super cool. So I believe this mine originally hired 12 men to move 100 tons of pumicite every week, which is insane to think of 12 people doing that. There was a rail, like tramway, that was lowered down into the canyon. It could then be trucked out to, I think, a railway siding, where it was then loaded onto rail cars and shipped to Los Angeles. And this is a pretty steep and rocky slope, so yeah, it's really crazy to imagine getting all that material from up here down here. Not even having to think about like installing the tramway first before you can start moving the ore. So this mine ended up producing 120,000 tons of pumicite before it closed down, which is insane. That is a lot of material, which, like I said at the last mine, that one didn't seem that deep to have produced 200 tons. You could see just how deep these ones went, and like we don't even know how extensive it is because I can't get down there. So that is a lot of material to be moved through this canyon. You can kind of see all the way down there some metal scraps. Not sure what those are or if they're from the mining operation. Oh wow. So I imagine this might be where they lowered those like tram cars. Looks like there's some cable and some wheels to raise and lower. Wow. Oh, some really small mine openings as well. Yeah, so this must be the other western entrance that was accessible with the rail car. You can see where it looks like they dug out a channel, and then there's some more metal down there that seems rusted out, and possibly some structures down here where I'm assuming where it looks like they probably received the ore and then could take it out of the valley. That is wild that they got all of this down the side of this cliff. 120,000 tons over, you know, a decade or two, but that's still really impressive. I almost didn't come all the way down this way, so I'm really glad I did, because I didn't even know that was there, and I feel like most of what I've seen from people who have visited here haven't come down this way either. No one's ever mentioned seeing that. I knew that there was the existence of an opening on this side that was accessible by the rail car. I just didn't think that you'd be able to hike to it. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty happy with that. Well, that is it for the old Dutch cleanser mine. Really cool that it's just out here for people to see. It's kind of surprising that they haven't blocked it off at all. Very cool slice of history, and a little different than the usual gold mines that are all over California. Alright, that is it for today. We got to check out some pretty unique mines. They're unlike any other mine I've seen before, so that was pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did like the video, consider leaving a like on the video, and if you want to join me on my next adventure, consider subscribing. Until then, you can check out some of my previous videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!